So if you work inside an MSP and you have no idea what kind of lead generation actually does the trick, this video will undoubtedly help. We're going to be discussing all the different kinds of popular MSP lead generation methods. I'll share my experience on it, give some tips here and there, right? So let's jump right in. So friends and family, this is how most people start out. Not much to say about this. We all know how it works. So they love you. They're going to help you as much as they can. They're probably expecting a good deal. They will sign up with you and help you forward, but you run out of them, right? So this is a step that, if you ask me, should not be skipped. I give this a fat A because this is something that enables MSPs to get their foot through the door, at least in the business scene. So awesome, and very thankful to friends and family. Okay, global SEO. So let me just briefly show you what I mean by that. And I typed IT support near me, a very regular search. Then on top, you're always going to have the ads. Then you're going to have a local SEO, the map pack here. And this is the global SEO. This is the old school stuff. This is how loads of people also find us, these links down here. But the reality is that people don't really search or click those links as much anymore as they used to. And also because this has been so hyper optimized, it's really tough to break into. So with global SEO, it kind of works like this. If you're just starting out, you can get clicks on articles, but the chances are that the keywords in those articles won't convert very well. Or you can rank for some things that do convert well, but there's going to be so low on search volume, nothing really comes out of that as well. So that real golden standard article where you can get lots of clicks and lots of conversion intent, usually you need to have a lot of authority with Google already to crack in there. And for that reason, for starting MSPs, this is something that you need to get running with, but you shouldn't really expect any results for a long time because this has been optimized to death. I'm not talking 6 months. I mean longer if you're new. So how do I feel about this? Look, once your domain authority is high enough, and if you have been working on this, then this is the thing that will turn you into a juggernaut. But it takes ages to get started with, and the startup cost is really high. So I give this a B. And for smaller MSPs, like barely recommended, to be honest. Okay, so bringing this one back. So this is local SEO, optimizing for Google Maps, and that's pretty much it, to be honest. There's other map packs as well. This is the new king. Everyone shops this way. You shop this way, whether you want a mechanic or a restaurant or whatever. This is the thing that you'll use. And you'll either type your search in here or you'll go straight to Google Maps or similar map platform. And this is absolutely badass, really quick to optimize for, really easy to optimize for. Of course, the problem is if you start getting bad reviews, then people simply will not show up anymore. And you gotta take some serious steps before people would even consider you. For example, I don't have anything with this map back here. This is just something that I searched earlier. But me, if I was a prospect, I would be looking at Capital Tech and I'd skip these two immediately, right? So you need to have certain requirements in terms of reviews and so on. So it takes a little bit of effort. But once you have this set up, leads will keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. I think the best value for money in lead generation in general. This is also the thing that everyone will use to double check your reputation in the local market. So all these other things, they feed off of it. You really need this to be the best in your city, because if this is the best in your city, your website doesn't even matter that much. So local SEO, big fat ass tier. Get it set up. Direct mail. So look, we know it. We send the little letters, maybe put a little coin inside or something to make it a little bit bigger to make sure that it gets opened. Pain in the ass to start with. You probably need to send 500 letters a day for it to be any kind of effective. You need to send multiple letters to the same person. You probably burn through your local market very quickly. It's very expensive to get started with. It's very time consuming to get started with. And I have heard from 0 business owners that they made this work. So I'm going to give this a D. So local partnerships, I mean, speaking with other companies or other institutions in your area and building a partnership that is mutually beneficial. So for example, you could have some sort of barter agreement with your Chamber of Commerce. And so you work for them for free and they recommend everyone in the network to you. You can work with legal agencies that incorporate franchises into the market and maybe see if they can give you some referrals, or a larger MSP that sends the small business to you, or a smaller MSP that you send the small business to. But local partnerships, you need to have a bit of a reputation most of the time to get this set up. But I mean, fantastic, right? I know MSPs that have grown phenomenally through local partnerships. So a big fat thumbs up for me. Okay, so vendor partnerships. Yes, create partnerships with your vendors if you can, especially if they distribute leads. Also no, I'm going to give this an A. I think it's always worth it. Okay, so billboards. I'm going to give this a C. I actually know people who got some ROI from this. I've also heard plenty who didn't. So I'm going to give this a C, and the same for local radio, because I actually have heard MSP business owners that got some business through this. I don't remember if they were actually MSP projects or just some IT projects, some infrastructure, something of the sort. I mean, MSP contract. But I have heard people that got some ROI from this. Direct mail, literally zero. Okay, cold email is an interesting one. Look, if you're in a local market, right? You're in a town, you're a local MSP, you serve an industry, you're industry agnostic for your market, right? So you just take the businesses in your area, 20 to 120 endpoints, whatever. Then cold email is useless. You're going to fry your local market immediately. When was the last time you bought anything off of a cold email? Probably never, right? Never. So you would only buy from a cold email if the offer inside was so crazy good that you had to reach out. And even with that, you'd probably still be very hesitant because you probably get loads of cold emails, don't you? And you respond to none of them, right? So your prospects would likely do the same. But let's say that you are an MSP targeting one specific industry and they have a huge technology problem inside the industry that you alone have the cure to because you create some proprietary solution. Then perhaps you can cold email to your specific industry. But if you're just in a local market, you can forget about it. I'm going to give this a C. Actually, for local MSPs inside the local markets, this is a D. If you are industry specific, then it could be a B or even an A. I'm going to give this a C as a nice average. Cold calling. Again, when was the last time you bought anything off of a cold call, right? It's probably been a while. Nevertheless, I know companies that make this work. They have 10 cold callers inside the MSP itself. And with that method, it can work if you also have enough sales agents to go to the meetings. Here's the problem. You probably have to have 20 to 50 meetings to close one deal because people will take the meetings with you, but they won't convert because they're already inside an agreement somewhere and the offer is probably not going to be aggressive enough to get them out. Right. And I base these numbers based on the 1,000 conversations that I've had. I've had this conversation about cold calling at least 100 times. Right. Conversion is between 1 to 20 meetings. If the founder goes themselves, the opportunity cost for that is like super insane. Right. Because imagine going to, they can average 40 meetings, going there, traveling back, pitching, of course, to say, yes, in the proposal, all of that needs to be done. On average, spending 5 hours per meeting, being generous, probably more, right? 250 hours for one contract. Like the cost for generating that one contract is so insanely high that to me, this doesn't get viable until you are a large MSP that is completely dialed in and is willing to allocate many years to refining this process. Then it can be effective, right? But if you're a small MSP, this is the most expensive way to generate leads and it's not worth the opportunity cost. So I'm going to give this a B. So Google Ads, one of my favorite ways to generate leads, but you need to have all the ingredients right? What Google Ads really does is it just makes you one of the options that they see on the internet. And that's it, right? If people go on the internet, they're going to find 20, 30, 40 MSPs. So you need to make sure that when they see you on the internet, which you will pay for with that ad, that they actually feel like you are the best deal there, which means that you probably already want to have your local SEO perfect. So you have your testimonials, you want to have a really good offer, you want to have target market fit, right? You don't want to be speaking to everyone doing everything. You want to target a specific subset, also do this in your ad. Basically, there's a lot of optimizations that needs to happen. And many MSPs, they just burn cash with the wrong settings. And even if they have the right settings, which 99% of the time they don't, then their landing page sucks. So I'm going to give Google Ads an A because with the right knowledge, this can be done relatively quickly or actually very quickly, but you have to go through all the sequences. But I mean, MSPs have grown to billion-dollar valuations in a period of 5 years just running Google Ads, right? And you really only need 1 or 2 good systems. Okay, so social media ads, I'm going to put this at a B. It's also really effective, but it's more dependent on the founder of the company to get in there and to be charismatic and to invest, to be part of the campaigns. And for that reason, it's a lot harder for a marketing vendor to execute on, which means that it's really founder dependent, which means it's a lot less reliable, if that makes sense, right? Because many of these solutions you can just give to your team and be like, hey, develop this. But with social media marketing, it's not usually like that. So a B can be really cost effective. You can also do this in a local market. You can send your remarketing ads everywhere. Look, if it was me, I'd run them. I know that for most MSP business owners, it's probably not so attractive because it's even more complex than Google Ads, but can be cheaper. Local newsletters. Again, a moment of reflection. When was the last time that there was a business inside your local market that sent out email newsletters and that you purchased something because of it? Probably never, right? Now, maybe you have purchased something of a newsletter from a mastermind or from a SaaS that you're using or something of the sort. And that's because these companies invest a lot in it. They have global audiences. They're really dialed in on your specific avatar. So that way you can make it work. And again, if you are a national MSP or you have a very specific audience in a single industry, then yes, I'd recommend it even. Definitely have a newsletter. But if you are a small MSP and you need to get just growth, let's say you're below 5 million, 10 million a year in annual revenue, then don't waste 100 hours on the newsletter because you're throwing it in the garbage bin, right? Put it anywhere here. Much, much, much better. So I'm going to give this a C. All right, so conferences, I can't really tell you all that much about because honestly, I haven't had too many conversations with MSP business owners about this specifically. So I can't really say. I can imagine that you go there and you build a lot of relationships. It's very easy to build barter deals, right? Instantly. It's a really great way to become locally recognized if you go to the right conferences, things on charity and stuff like that. So for me, I would probably put this in the B tier because I think that if you build your local reputation and you put this hand in hand with the local SEO again, you can definitely do something and it's definitely more effective than these here. Okay, so networking events, if you're visiting. Okay, you might not know that I used to be on the board of advisors to a chamber of commerce. BNI. I love networking. Love it, love it, love it, right? It's also a little bit of a guilty pleasure, and your sales guys will go and just have a good time. I think compared to the other things here, it is a time sink, right? The inputs versus outputs equation doesn't really add up. It's also not scalable, but it's free. And that is very, very, very attractive to MSPs that are just starting out. Would I recommend it? I mean, look, if I had an MSP and in a local market and I was just starting out, then this would be my A tier, right? If I was a super young MSP. But as soon as I got a little bit of cash left over, this would go down really, really quickly. And I'd say that probably this would end up somewhere around here in the C tier as well. Now, if you're self-hosting your own networking events, these things change dramatically because what you can do is you can, let's say you have a customer who's an accountant and you invite him out to dinner and you say, hey, look, you have customers, I have customers, let's exchange, right? You then organize an event together and in a nice hotel, 5 stars, you get the champagne rolling, you get some snacks. And then whenever your clients come to talk to you, you point him to your accountant and say, you should really talk to him, like he's magic. And your accountant does the same, right? And points his customers towards you. These people will then always let you pitch and come in. And because you come in as a referral, maybe they don't like your current MSP as much. Maybe your offer there has a little bit more weight and that can work. And I would not be surprised if you pick up a client every single time you do that. So you can go through your client base and you can exchange customers like that. Do it. Fantastic. So I would say very labor intensive, but that's not true. Like this is just a great way to grow your business. It's fun. You're getting drunk. You're in your local community. It's the best. Do it. Okay. So AI optimization, right? We're getting our first ChatGPT leads. Actually started getting those about a year ago. And what I'm finding is that the ChatGPT leads that we generate are usually in an area where the search engine or ChatGPT considers our customers to be like hyper specialists. So for example, we write a content silo or a blog post on one specific thing, like whatever, a GoDaddy to G Suite migration, something like that. And not even G Suite because Google Domains got acquired by Squarespace, but whatever, right? Something really, really, really super specific. If you create content like that and you put that enough on your website and you have enough domain authority that it actually ranks high enough that it will pick it up in the search engine and scrape it, then ChatGPT can consider you an expert in that field. And then if people search for it in that search engine, they will find you. So that is where I think you can have weight. Other than that, optimizing for local SEO also optimizes for AI. Because if people then go to, hey, what's the best MSP in this town? I mean, that's just straight up local SEO, right? So this is, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't focus on this for now because it is a really new field and everything that's happening here currently is just a side effect of what you're doing here and what you're doing here, right? But I reckon in a year or two, this is going to become a big deal. And right now, this is just feeding off of this. Okay, social selling. So social selling, you go on LinkedIn. Hey, have you read my little book? Right? You're trying to trade something of value to get a little bit of a person's attention. And you might feel like you're giving people stuff for free and that they should be thankful. But you're not giving it for free because you're asking them for their time to read it. And people's time is often worth more to them than their cash, especially your prospects, right? These are people that run companies with between 20 to 100 employees. They are busy. So if you're going to give them a shitty booklet to read, then they're going to remember that and they're not going to like you. Right? So you need to be able to trade something of really extreme value and build a relationship because chances are they don't want to become a customer right now. This is something that you do if you're playing the long game, right? But I think with a really well-crafted strategy, you can do quite a lot here, right? If you have a lot of handouts that you can give time over time, drip feed it to everyone in your city and so on. I think that would be smart. It's not something that we're doing yet, but I'd probably start looking at it at some point soon. This could work, so I'd give it a B. Do we need to say more? Referrals, right? Big fat S tier. You just gotta be good enough that you get them, right? Serve your customers the way that you would want to be served. I heard this saying that I really liked. It is, what if you were not allowed to do any paid advertising anymore and you would have one customer left? How would you serve that customer? Right? What if you just you had one customer and you needed to get everything from referrals? Like, how would you treat that guy? Like he's a god, right? If you're able to do that, lots of referrals. So I will say, guys, a few more things. Cold email can be really, really good if you target one specific industry or you're nationwide and you can solve one very big problem very effectively and you're the only person that can do that, right? If you have some sort of proprietary solution. If you are doing it in a local market, just in a small town, it's a D. If you have what I just said, that you can really solve a massive problem for people in a specific industry, it can be A, even S. But if you are a normal MSP, it's a D. Okay, so I'm putting it in C here. One more final thing. One of the things that's puts local SEO in S is how quick it is to actually achieve this, because you build it once and it will keep running for years, which is very, very nice. But many of the things here will get enhanced by your local SEO. That makes this a must-have. Because what if, let's say, vendor partnerships, right? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to see how you look in the local market. Google Ads, prospects also evaluate this. Networking events, they come home. Oh no, this is self-hosted? Yeah, no, they probably still take a look here. This literally grows this and the other way around. Cold calling needs it. Social media ads, not as much, but still benefit. Conferences, social selling, see, all these things, they really massively benefit from having a good local SEO profile. And it's not that hard to set up, so just get to it. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Of course, I had to breeze through here. I have no idea how long this video is so far. It's probably way too long already. I can talk for hours about many of these. So if you want to see a little bit more in-depth content, just leave a comment and then I'll know what to make. I hope you enjoyed this video. My pleasure, and see you in the next video.